Good evening, sir. Welcome to the first virtual bootcamp of NASA Space App.
Good evening. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for accepting the invitation. We will start within 5-7 minutes. Participants are joining.
Sure, sure.
Hello, Anika.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we can start. Before proceeding, let me introduce to the Sakur sir. Sir, we have a very creative team behind this NASA Space App Challenge Surat. This is the second edition. We completed in 2024 with the marvelous winners. One of them also nominated in the People Choice Awards. So the lead for this 2025 edition is Parth Latia. Then we have co-leads also. One of them is Anika Mehta. Then we have Satyam Tiwari. Then we have Jay Reshambala. And then we have Jeet Prajapati. So over to you, Anika.
Thank you, ma'am. So, good evening, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to see such an enthusiastic gathering for our very first bootcamp session of the NASA Space App Challenge 2025 Surat. It is the world's largest global hackathon happening on the 4th and 5th of October this year. Uh, the Computer Engineering Department of SCET proudly hosts the NASA Space App Challenge 2025 Surat. As ma'am introduced, our chairperson is Dr. Dipali Kasat, head of Computer Engineering Department, and our faculty lead is Professor Dhatri Pandya, with her constant guidance and support. Um, so, this hackathon is conducted simultaneously across 160 countries with thousands of participants coming and solving the real world challenges using NASA's open data. So, through this boot camp, we aim to provide you the right skills, the right mindset, and the right inspiration that will not only help you to participate in this hackathon, but also leave a mark on this global stage. So, it is my privilege and honor to introduce our speaker for today's session, Mr. Shakur Rather. He is a highly respected name in the world of science communication. He is the CEO of Science Matters, a gap between complex scientific knowledge and the general public. Prior to this, he has also held prestigious positions as the head of India AI, chief editor at NASCOM, and science and technology editor at the Press Trust of India. Beyond these roles, he has contributed extensively as a thought leader and mentor, authoring articles and delivering talks in AI and space communication. Today, he'll be leading us into a session named Space Stories from Data to Public Understanding. Through this session, he'll be providing us with a practical tips on how we, as participants, can communicate our projects of the hackathon in a way which is both inspiring as well as engaging to the audience. So, on behalf of the entire organizing team, I extend a heartfelt welcome to Sir. We are truly honored to have you with us today and looking forward to the session. Over to you, Sir.
Thank you so much for such a lovely introduction. And I'm really privileged and honored to be here with all the budding scientists and technology enthusiasts that have joined us today. So without wasting any more time, I'll directly delve into today's topic, and we can start. Can you see my screen?
Yes, it's
Yes, sir,
visible.
it's visible.
Okay, are you able to see my screen, everyone?
Yes, it's clear visible.
Okay, wonderful. So today's topic, as we all know, is like how do we create space stories? Uh, Space stories, like any other genre of science journalism or science communication, is I think the hallmark of communication as far as science and technology is concerned. So my first question to the audience here is, why do any guesses? So I'll tell you a little bit about about why space stories matter. When we are born, the first thing that comes to our mind is that little incandescent bulbs doing in the sky, right? Why is the sun from the east? Why does it uh, why does it look bigger than the moon? Why does the moon come in the night, and why does the sun come in the day? Right? These are simple curiosity questions that come to our minds, when while we are growing up. So I think space science is something which is the most curious topic when it comes to science and technology. Second thing is to inform public policy and funding. All of you are going to be your budding scientists. You are going to be doing research, and research is always funded either by the government or by other organizations. So if you don't tell space stories, I think you won't be able to get that funding, right? That is necessary for research. Then, as we know, we live in the era of post-truth world, right? There's a lot of misinformation around not just our own world, around other worlds that are out there. That there are we often hear this that we often come across these terms like there's an asteroid coming and it's going to hit the Earth soon, right? So we need to have storytellers who can debunk this misinformation and deepen public understanding, right? And then, of course, science communication, science storytelling is also a career path, because we are not, you are tomorrow. You are not just going to be doing research. Some of you may want to write about science, right? I get a lot of, I was at Lindau Nobel Laureates Conference, and it had a huge gathering of budding scientists like you from across the world. And they kept asking me questions when they saw me. They thought I was a scientist or a science researcher, but they kept asking me, what do you do? What is science writing? So when I told them, what I do as a science writer, as a science communicator, they were very intrigued, and they all wanted to know that whether they can carve a career out of this. Uh, yeah. So if we start, what is a story? A story, we all hear stories, we all become stories, we all make stories, right? So a simple definition is, it's a factual, concise. When it comes to science reporting, especially science communication, it's a factual, concise, and timely account of real events or issues to inform the public. Uh, Science communication is typically based on either interviews, either data, in the form of research, or direct observation that we see, right? And it follows professional standards of accuracy, fairness, and objectivity. I'm sure you all confuse, between what is a research journal, how is it different from a press release, and how is it different from a science story, a general science story. So research journal, you all know, it's a publication, right? An academic publication where researchers like you do your own research, and then you get published, right, through peer review. A press release is a kind of it's a concise form of that research paper, right? That a university comes up with, or the journal itself comes up with. And then science story is something, which puts this press release to question. It says that, okay, this information is out there, so what, right? Why does it matter? Why do people have to read this? Why is this research important to science? Why is it important? What is the human interest here? Key elements of a storytelling are, it has to be factual, it has to be evidence based, there has to be sourcing. You need to attribute all the information that is there in the story. Then you have to be objective, right? You cannot take sides in a story. It has to be balanced properly through facts, figures, expert opinions, And most important of all, it should have a human interest. Why should anyone be interested in gravitational waves, right? Why should somebody read about the CMEs, the coronal mass ejections, right? Why should somebody care about how the planets are aligned? Why should somebody care about why and if an asteroid is in the near Earth belt, right? So that human interest has to be at the core of a story. The structure is roughly, designed as it has a headline, it has a lead, which is also called an intro, right? And then it has a body wherein you have all other elements of that story. So this is one story I want to share with you. This was in the run-up to the Chandrayaan 3 mission. I did the story for the Press Trust of India uh, because there were two missions at that time which were gearing up for moon landing. One of the missions didn't make it, Russia's Luna 25. The other was Chandrayaan 3, which made a successful landing and also had a rover and an orbiter with it, right? So it made a very interesting story for the audiences. Everybody was glued to their televisions, especially after the failure of Chandrayaan 2. Uh, some more stories, one story I did, the print published it, it was about NASA's DART mission, which was to prevent a possible, asteroid coming towards Earth. Uh, then another story I did, it was about the Janus asteroid mission. This story was for the Council of Scientific Writer, CASW. And then another story, as you can see on the screen, was about Aditya mission, the Aditya L1 mission. This was it was in fact the first solar mission that India launched in 2023. So all these stories are based on data, right? There has to be data, there has to be research, there has to be facts that you can use to create your story. So where do you get all this data from? There are so many sources of data that are open source. Actually, there's NASA has a very exhaustive website. It has NASA TV there. It has in fact subdomains also. It has many other aligned websites also. The JPL has its own website. Uh, then NASA Earth is a separate segment. So if you are looking for data out there, you should definitely uh, go through all these NASA websites. They even have press briefings. They have a live television, that you can watch. During the missions, they use those channels to communicate their research, their missions also. Then ISRO has a website which became like live very recently. It became very active. It was there for a long time, but ISRO was not sharing a lot of information. But ever since the Chandrayaan missions, especially Chandrayaan 2 and Chandrayaan 3, they have been very active, not just on their website, also on their social media uh, channels. Then we have peer-reviewed papers, and here we have to be very careful. We cannot take any research for granted from any kind of journal. This research has to be in a peer-reviewed paper. That peer-reviewed paper needs to have a high impact factor. All these terms I'm sure all of you are familiar with, or you will get familiar with as you progress in your studies. Then you have space scientists, right? We have a lot of institutions across India where space research is done. So space scientists are there. You can always talk to them. You can ask them. Going to the previous question when I said that, okay, this information is there, but so what, right? Why should anybody care? So these space scientists help you to contextualize. Or tomorrow, some of you may go on to become space scientists, and you will be the people who will help contextualize that information. Why is this mission important? Why should India care, right? Why should people care about it? What are the core skills, if I may ask, to analyze to analyze this data? uh, One is that you need to have those analytical skills, develop them very early in your career. As if you're first year students or second year students, have that analytical ability from now, develop that, so that you can research papers from early on. Now you have a lot of AI tools also which help you, which lessen the time to analyze a research paper or read a research paper or summarize a research paper. Tools like Data Wrapper are there, right, and others, even simple open AI and other LLMs that are there. Then you need to have the ability to interpret scientific data, right? Because unless you are able to interpret a research paper, your research reporting is not going to be very holistic. You need to get acclimatized to different sections of a research paper. There's an introduction, there's a there's an analysis, there are different tables that you need to read, there are summaries, right? All of those sections you need to get familiarized with. uh, then understanding jargon, I think this is very important, because a lot of research papers, they carry a lot of jargon. We'll do an exercise on this as well. uh, they have a lot of terms which only a scientist can understand. A common man will kind of they'll run away if they hear those terms. So simplify those terms, the jargon, for the common readers, so that they can also feel that information is relevant to them. And then contextualize, right? Context becomes really important when it comes to a story, be it any story, science story or any other story. Unless you contextualize that, if for example, if a space satellite is being launched, what impact will this have on agriculture in India? What impact will this have on the climate research in India? What impact will this have on the glacier research, or for that matter, geological research in India, right? So context becomes really important. Then you have, like I said, every piece of information when it comes to writing stories needs to be evaluated, it needs to be verified. How do we do that? We cross check all the information with official repositories. If there's a piece of information out there, we go to these NASA websites, ISRO website, then there's a JAXA website, Roscosmos has one, other new European Space Agency has one. So you go there and cross check this information, right? Then you seek another round of cross checking, involves seeking expert context. Like I said earlier, talk to the scientists, start this habit of getting, talking to them, so that you know what is going on, how to contextualize this. So a little exercise here, I'll share a summary of a press release with you. You have to just pick one sentence that could make a headline or a hook for that. This is a recent uh, this is a recent finding, actually. Mars has so many craters. So there's a Jezero crater, which holds signs of this study found that it holds signs of ancient water and strange mineral reactions, some linked with organic compounds, with Perseverance samples. Perseverance is one of the rovers that NASA sent to Mars. There is Opportunity rover, then there is Curiosity rover, and Perseverance is one of the rovers. And AI refined mineral maps. So scientists are closing in on whether Mars once had the chemistry needed for life. Now you just need to use one sentence to describe. I just gave you a summary. There's a whole press release on this, and then a whole research paper on this. I just gave you a summary of this. Just think about how. Oh, in the chat I can read. Yeah, wonderful. Right. Mars may hold clues to ancient life chemistry. Wonderful. I see. Yeah, you're doing great. I mean, I'll read out a few and then Yeah, clues to life's origins found in Mars Jezero crater. Mars hold ancient chemistry. Mars Jezero crater may hold clues to wonderful. So, this is a simple exercise, but you can go back and do it at your home as well. After this, because we don't have that much time. So, this was the Smithsonian. This was the headline of an article in Smithsonian magazine. Smithsonian magazine is one of the top, magazines when it comes to science writing. We'll discuss more later on. NASA discovers clearest sign yet of ancient life. So NASA has discovered signs of ancient life before as well, but this one is considered one of the clearest sign yet. And how did they do that? By studying this rock, and this was studied through Perseverance rover. So another exercise that I have here is like we talked about, how to simplify jargon, right? Think of three words about space where you feel that, which you feel could be simplified. Three words, about space which you feel could be simplified, and what could that simple definition be? Okay, you can drop them in the comments section. Orbit, okay, yeah. Definitely, orbit. What is an orbit? A common person may not know what is an orbit, right? Galaxy, supernova, debris. Wonderful. Yeah, all kinds of terms, right? There. So we can, yeah, wonderful. Singularity. Across my space writing, I have always come across these terms and always tried to, write a one-liner against it, that, what it means, what is a wormhole, what is a black hole. Okay, so I will talk about uh, three jargon words that are there. Uh, One is Goldilocks zone. This is a very favorite word in press releases. They even put it in headlines, that what is a Goldilocks temperature for liquid water to exist. And we all know, liquid water, how important it is for life, right? One is this. The other is CME. We talked about this. What is coronal mass ejection? It's a massive burst of solar wind and magnetic fields coming from the sun. Why should we care? Because it can impact our satellites, right? It can impact the temperature. It can impact the climate conditions around Earth. Then another term, event horizon. I think somebody wrote it in the chat as well. It's a boundary around a black hole beyond which nothing can escape, not even light, right? So these are the top three. I thought. There are many others like you mentioned in the chat, but these were at the top of my head. So then I think one of the famous space stories in our recent times has been Chandrayaan 3 landing. That is when I have seen, people really excited about what will happen to this mission, especially when there was a heartbreak after Chandrayaan 2 couldn't land successfully, right? So this story had, so many people. There was emotion, there was nationalism, since we were also competing with Russia at that time. For they came up with a mission, a frugal mission. This mission, as we all know, Chandrayaan mission. This is the third mission in this Chandrayaan series, and we had live, simulations that people were glued to their TVs. Some of the reporters I saw on TV, they were wearing space suits as if they were, there on the moon. They were even simulating the moon conditions where Chandrayaan landing will happen. So this was a very successful mission with the orbiter, then the lander, and then the rover. All of them successfully, completing their missions, right? So we were watching live action, and But what happens in a story like this, a lot of wrong information can go onto the bias or in the media, and that we saw during Chandrayaan landing, because everybody wanted that story to go out first, right? Everybody was like, I need to get the story out. So that is where, in a story like this, balancing speed with accuracy becomes really important. You can be reporting about things, but then but nothing can be more important than facts, right? You cannot you cannot have your emotions overpower your you know uh, writing skills or your communication skills. Is my uh, is my screen visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay. So then I saw some of the projects. One project, in fact, that I saw about last year's space challenge program. It was about how satellites can help us figure out what is happening to the Earth, right? And there was a very interesting painting that I came across. It showed the impact of climate change on the planet. How it was kind of melting like an ice cream, right? Very good. Visuals I saw there. Very interesting way of making science communication very simple for layman, right? For someone who is like still in school, and they see these visuals, and all of a sudden, they get the point, right? It's a very simple visualization is very powerful. When we talk about storytelling, I think visualization is the most powerful tool you can have. You can make anything very simple. We'll see some examples as we go ahead. So you turn basically Earth observing data into local impact stories. Like I gave the example of what is the impact of, uh, you know, uh, what is the impact of weather on agriculture, on our glaciers. So these satellites can tell us, right? The satellites can even tell us what is happening beneath the Earth. We saw, in Joshimat, we saw a case of subduction there, right? And it was the satellite data which was telling us, how much of the land has, how much of the subduction has taken place in Joshimat, in other places also across North India, wherever the hills are undergoing subduction. So very important data these satellites they share with us. Then what are the tools? Some of the tools that we use. Like I gave the example of NASA Open Data. You can go there and it's a treasure trove of data you can find there. Then Jet Propulsion Lab, they have a lot of information. You can go there and find it. Then you have Google Earth Engine. You can use, how do you visualize these stories? You can use tools. Now we have so many Gen AI tools, but common tools that were used till now were Python, Tableau, and tools like Flourish, right? Very important. They help you in visualizing these stories. Uh, then another exercise, you have to find, uh, what kind of a visual could go with a story like this, where you're saying NASA satellite detects unexpected aurora spike over the Indian Ocean, right? So auroras have their own. We have fascination. People travel all the way to these countries, like Norway and some parts of Russia and other places to just see the aurora, right? So what kind of visuals would you use if you were to do a story like this? You can drop your options in the chat. What do you think? Would a map be better, or an animation be better, or simply a photo of the aurora is enough? Map, yeah, maps are always good. Visualizing tools. Definitely a photo of aurora, wonderful. If you have animation, right? All kinds of tools, right? Photos, okay. Animations, right? Yeah. So this is a kind of picture that can go there, right? It could be in an animated form, like you all mentioned. It could be just a picture of it, or it could be you could put it on a map also. showing which all countries get the aurora. I think last winter a lot of people said that there was an aurora like phenomena in Ladakh as well. So yeah, so you might get lucky if you are there next time. So some of the uh, repositories for these images and animations are NASA images. Then you have a tool called Pixel. Unsplash is there. You can use images from there. These are like open source. GitHub. Some are paid. Then space agency websites that I mentioned earlier. The ESO has its website. It has wonderful pictures. NASA has it. Roscosmos has it. Even ISRO shares has good pictures of deltas when the Mars orbiter found the clues of deltas on Mars. Right? It had a wonderful visualization of that story. I still remember. I think it is still on the ISRO website. You can go there and find these. So how do we make space stories relevant and interesting? Because interest is very important. Unless somebody is interested in your story, you might feel that why am I bothered to write, or why am I bothered to make a video on a space story at all? Why should people care, right? So you can always make it interesting by giving a reference from science fiction, because we have seen, interestingly, we have seen a lot of things science fiction borrowed from science, and a lot of science is now, science fiction is now coming out to be true. For example, if you remember, there was in 2019 or 18, there was this planetary system called TRAPPIST that was discovered. I don't know how many of you know about that planetary system. So it had a binary, planet in it, a binary planetary system in it. If you don't know what a binary is, it's a planet, which has two suns, right? Uh, in simple terms. So where do we get that reference from? Star Wars, which was a planet like that, which had two suns. It was Tatooine, right? If you remember, if you've seen Star Wars, uh, so that Tatooine reference you can use in your story. You can simply say a Tatooine-like planet has been discovered. You can use multimedia, and then you can use AI as well. Like, I'll give an example here. This is the Tatooine-like Star Wars planet that was discovered, and a lot of good science magazines use this image with the same words that I think this one was in Newsweek. This image I saw, I think in Newsweek, had this when this planet was discovered. After this, a lot of such planets have been discovered. So you can use Tatooine like Star Wars, like that makes it interesting for a common reader, right? Then we can have see the power of an image. How one image could be worth 1,000 words. If you remember that when the first image of a black hole was captured, right? This, I think, was 22? Yeah, 22, I think. So all the papers and websites just had this image and a small caption, because this didn't need any explanation. It's a donut shaped image, right, of a black hole. The first such image which was clicked of a. Before that, we had very faint images, but this was, made possible by the Event Horizon Telescope, and very powerful. Made it to the front pages of all the dailies. It was the lead story of all the science magazines out there. So this is when a picture can be worth 1,000 words. So what all tools can you use for depiction of science stories, especially space stories? Uh, there are many tools out there, which give you good results. But I think these are the 4 tools that you can use for making very powerful stories. One is VO3. then there is Mid Journey, then there is Sora and Runway ML. Mm. The problem is, some of these tools are, in fact, most of these tools are paid. Some of you they give you access to make images, but not when it comes to videos. They'll ask you for a plan, to upgrade to a plan. Uh, I don't know why this is not working. I wanted to show you a very powerful video, which will make it. Is it working
It's
on?
buffering.
It's buffering, right? Yeah. I don't know why it's happening. It was working fine earlier. Yeah, sometimes it happens.
Yes, when we tested, it was working very nice.
Yeah. So maybe we can move on to next and then come back to this.
Yes, yes, you can share this video later on.
Yeah. So that video, it's very,
Students understand what.
a very nice way how you can uh, depict the composition of planets, right? It's basically, this video was developed in VO3 using this prompt or a
Can
similar.
we share Instagram link direct? Maybe it will work. The post.
I will
Yes,
share
yes.
that. Just a second. Where is the link? Okay.
Accessible, otherwise it's fine.
Open link, copy link. Let me put it in the chat. You can
Yes,
all.
yes. Yes, that would be fine.
You can all go there and check for yourself what this video is. Very, very interesting way of showing planets. You can use this to show the composition of planets, and anybody from a a young school going boy to a senior citizen would be interested. From all walks of life, they would be interested in knowing which planet has more gas in it, which planet is more rocky, which planet has which has rings, what kind of rings are there, which has other satellites around it. Very interesting tool. You must have seen it on Instagram, I'm sure. So there are opportunities for, if you are working on this space challenge, there are opportunities that the prototypes that you come up with could become very good media stories. All you have to do is reach out to these science magazines, which I'm sure Dhatri ma'am will also help you with. So they can be used as good media, stories in the media once you come up with these prototypes, or even if you are doing research at your own level and coming up with prototypes, that can also make. I wanted to talk to you about citizen science. What is citizen science? Citizen science is when common people who don't have too much knowledge about how space works, they can also help make certain discoveries. How do they do that? They go on platforms like Zooniverse. I think it is one of the biggest platforms for citizen scientists. They can go there, they can use the data there, which is available. Researchers have kept it available there, and they can use that data and make findings. Lot of planets, lot of asteroids, exoplanets especially, lot of asteroids have been discovered using this method. So you can use that. Zooniverse is a good platform. Then key takeaways. You have space data. Now data is there. We all know data is there. But how do you interpret it? That is very important. Because while interpreting, you might lose the context, you might lose facts, you might lose accuracy, and you may be totally, uh, giving a different picture than the data predicts. So accuracy plus storytelling, it develops trust. Once you develop that trust as a storyteller, I think you will have a lot of people waiting for your next story. And how do you do that? Through collaboration. Then these are some of the top science journals out there. uh, where space stories, space articles are published, space research articles are published. Nature Astronomy, you can check online. The Astrophysical Journal is there. Astronomy and Astrophysics is there. Monthly Notices is there. Another, I used a lot of these research articles for my stories. Then Planetary and Space Science, and many other Science Advances, many others, but these are some of the top ones I could think of. Then there are certain popular science websites out there, which Smithsonian is one. I gave the example earlier. Then there's Scientific American. Its space section is wonderful. Space.com is totally dedicated website to space sciences. Science News is there. New Scientist is there. Science Alert is there. Live Science is from the same group as Space.com. Stories not just on their website, even on their uh, Instagram and other social media channels. They use a lot of in video, I think, to make stories around space. So a lot of AI is now being used in Gen AI is being used in storytelling. So I think I will leave it here and I will go to questions. I'm sure you will have a lot of them. So you can ask me questions, anything. I'm here. I don't want to just speak. I want to hear from you as well.
Participants are requested to type their queries, or you can, Anika, you can unmute them, participants. So either they
Yes.
can type in the chat section.
Or some of you can drop questions in the chat.
Yes,
And we'll
yes.
be
And Anika, you can speak out. That is also okay. I think you can mute all the participants. It is
Yeah, so
better
the
to type.
first question is by Khwaja Asma. What strategies help make a project story resonate with the judges and a non-technical audience at the same time? I think one common factor is human interest. If your story has a human interest in it, if it is about solving a particular problem that we're facing on Earth, it may be a space story, but at the end of the day, we are going to space to solve problems on Earth. Those kind of stories will resonate with both the judges and the non-technical audience. I mean that is what I meant by human interest earlier when I said put humans at the center of your story. I think that should be your goal if you are doing a project story like that. Uh, Kazma Sheikh, hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. How to access the data sets for the topics we have given? Mm, I think Dhatri ma'am would be able to better tell you
Yes,
about that.
NASA Open Data provides you the data related to all the problem challenges. So we will be sharing you link later on.
Soham asked, can we publish about astronomy? What was the question? Just a second. Can we publish about astronomy and astrophysics? Are you? Is this question related to the Space Apps Challenge? In that case, I'll ask Dhatri ji to answer that. Otherwise, you can publish stories about anything, right? Uh, I mean, there are so many websites out there who seek freelance stories. You can always reach out to them. Live Science, Space.com. They all need freelance writers. If you are a space enthusiast and if you have that storytelling in you, definitely you can publish on astronomy and astrophysics. Urvashi asks, in an age of misinformation, how do we ensure accuracy while still keeping space stories engaging? Right. So when I said earlier, the story has to be made catchy or it has to be made interesting. That should not come at the cost of the facts. Facts remain sacred in any story. I remember one of the top editors at the Hindu used to tell that for a political story there's a double check, but for a science story there's always a triple check because it's all based on science. So then we have tools now which we can help in debunking misinformation. And also here, I think media literacy becomes really important. Media literacy workshops around space and other fields of science become very important, so that people have those tools at their disposal where they can, which they can use to debunk misinformation. In NASA official website, apart from storytelling, can I do Python coding? Uh,
Yes, you can do.
yeah, of
Depends on the
course.
problem statement.
Yeah, you can definitely do any kind of coding, like Dhatriji mentioned, depending on your problem statement, what it is. They have a lot of data, you can do that. Can you share an example where storytelling changed the outcome of project presentation? Uh, I think the last year's story that was there, I think it did move the judges, right? Dhatriji, if I'm not wrong, about the that about that climate story,
Yes, yes.
impact of solar flares on Earth.
Yes, so the storytelling need to be done in such a way that you have to present your work with a lot of graphics. Emphasize is also on the keywords also. So
Because see,
that is very
in
important.
your project presentation, I think this you will be asked, what kind of a problem statement are you solving here, right? So that I think should be the focus area here. So what exactly is a jargon? I mean, I understand it's a word. What is understood by professionals and not laymen, but still word can be like planet, some planets name also. Uh, I won't say that a name of a planet is, name can be anything. We have different names, would qualify as a jargon, but a term which is not, which is very heavy, which is very flowery, which is not understandable by a common man. Because if you tell a common man even a black hole, which is not a name, which black hole is, they would wonder what is a black hole. So you can simplify that and tell them, it's a space something, or for that matter, gravitational waves, right? When we throw this word gravitational wave, somebody, a common man would run off. They'll be like, what does that even mean? Or many other terms which are out there. uh, that is definitely a jargon. I heard there are new rules this year for NASA challenge. This answer I think I leave to Dhatriji.
Yes, we can answer all this later on. We can right now focus on the storytelling questions.
Okay, what skills are essential for someone who wants to work in data science journalism? Good question. Like I said, you should be able to analyze data. That is very important, because the data is something, which can totally weigh on you. It can be overwhelming. So you should be patient, when it comes to data. You have to spend a lot of time with data, make sense of, tabulate that data, then make sense of, label that data, then make sense of what the data is telling us, right? And then use multimedia, use a lot of graphics, because graphics is the best way to represent data. If you see, the best stories on data I have seen are through graphics, through charts, through curves, right? I think that should be your aim. But first of all, data analytics, analyzing data is very important for that. Is we have to make an app on the topic we have given, or what exactly we have to do? I'm a little bit confused here. I think this information can be shared with you by Dhatri ma'am, right? Uh, does storytelling become the main part to attract the apart from the attraction from graphics? If I understand this correctly, you mean to say that is text important, or graphics are more attractive? I think both. Sometimes the text is important because you have to explain things that cannot be explained through figures. Like I said, jargon. Uh, in other places, we give the example of the black hole story. There, a picture or a graphic is enough, right? We don't need any too much text. So it depends on the context, what kind of a story you're trying to tell. Depending on that, uh, you can choose whether to use text or whether to use graphics. Himanshi, what is the meaning of jargon? What will be the strategy of ours for project making? Like I said earlier, don't use heavy words. Try to simplify. If there is a term which you cannot, which you have to use, give a one-liner explainer or a few words. Explain it a bit in a few words what it means. Okay. Uh, cause space stories can't be described in one sentence every time, so we should focus on this more. Exactly. Uh, you have to, space stories. You need a lot of explanation, so they sometimes become very long because we are explaining a lot of terms there. Also, sir, can you brief how research paper is written, like words used, presentation, etc.? If you're talking about an academic research paper, I think you do your research, you do your methodologies, qualitative research or quantitative research, and then based on a problem statement uh, or a hypothetical question or a uh, you know uh, you kind of build your research on it. Sometimes your research, you may start with something and the research says totally opposite to that, right? So uh, uh, then you once you have the research, you go for publishing it. Publishing is a peer reviewed process is there. There's an independent set of editors who sit on it. They tell you if changes are to be made. If your research is fine, I think they publish it. Shama, topic should tell what the stories are. uh, Soham says exactly, the topic should in the headline mention should have the crux of your. If you have a headline to a project, it should basically sum up everything and it should be catchy. You should be drawn into a story. You should reading the headline, you should be drawn into a story to read more. What is more, I want to know. A headline cannot be just uh, a lone headline somebody reads and goes off. No, it should draw you in. Where we get more space stories to just learn more about the space. I gave the example of all these websites, right? I can go back to those. Uh, like this, you can see these are some of them. There are a lot of them. You can even on Science Matters we do space stories sometimes, but these are the prominent ones which are doing a lot of science stories. You can go there. Even Nat Geo has a website. They also do a lot of space stories, so you can go there. What qualifications do we need to do research on these topics and publish reports related to that? As a researcher, of course, you need to have even a master's student, even a bachelor student these days is writing research papers, right? Correct me, Dhatriji, if I'm wrong.
No, it's fine,
Uh,
fine. You're going
yeah. So,
correct.
so yeah. So I mean, you could be in any. You could be in college. You could be in university. You could be doing PhD research. You can start your research on these topics, and once you have that research, I know someone who has been publishing on AI even in the second year of their BTech. So you can start it right away. Nothing is stopping you. All these topics, all you need is, I think, you have to be in that line, right? But you can always connect it with your work also. For example, if you are a hardcore techie who is into BTech, you can always relate your research, your project to space. For example, there was a lot of AI component in Chandrayaan, right? The rover had to go out. That all needed had to be automated. So you can always connect your line of research to space research, which should be right, because some websites are not trusted. That's true. These are trusted websites, so you can go there. Not every website gives you right information, but for more information, NASA, ISO, uh, uh, other websites, ISRO and others, they have right information. What are the key elements of powerful story that makes judges remember your project? Hmm. I think I'll if I go to that slide again, I'll tell you at the initially I showed you some visuals. I showed you some elements of news, elements of storytelling. Just let me go back to that. Mm. Yeah, these are the key elements for storytelling. Uh, yes, so have the facts correct, give evidence, attribute the information. You cannot just pick something from Wikipedia and put it in your project, right? It has to be attributed, sourced properly. I think judges would always like information which is well sourced, which is well attributed to. All kinds of information that you put in a project, that should be attributed. Nothing should come from your own side or from Wikipedia or AI or any other. Then it should be objective. It should read well. It should not read like an opinion piece. It should read like there's a problem and then these are the solutions. And have a narrative in your story. I think that is very important. Some stories can be very bland. You can give the concluding line at the outset and then start. But I think uh, identify the problem statement, then identify what are the different theories, then elucidate on what could be done, and then followed with the conclusion. Have a structure to your project. I think that will keep you in good stead when it comes to uh, when it comes to impressing judges. How exactly do we interpret the data to reach at the relevant story? Like I said, data interpretation is a very patient job. You need to be patient. You need to you can these days you have a lot of tools which can help you interpret data or cull out data from a large data set, right? You can use those, but be careful. LLMs all can hallucinate, so they can give you, but there are some new tools. I think they give you the exact source. Even ChatGPT now gives, you can tell it to give you the exact source where uh, you drafted the information from. So use those. And uh, and cross check, always cross check. uh, I saw some tool which takes you to the exact location of that entire document. You click on it, you go to the exact location of the document, and it helps you, saves a lot of time. I don't remember the name right now, but I can always you can always reach out to me for that. We will share the list of, okay, where we get to solve our doubts to other topics than space stories, like in more detail. I think you can always reach out to your mentors. You can always reach out to people, experts in that field. Don't shy away. If there's an expert, reach out to them. They will be more than happy to help you. Be it any field of now, not just space science. It can be any field of science or technology. So reach out to the experts, reach out to the concerned mentors, your teachers, and reach out to the correct sources in that field. I think you that will help you a lot. Okay, I think we are we are out of time now. So if you have any other questions, you can always you know you can put it in that document, and you can always
Yes,
thank.
we can share it.
Yeah,
We
you
will
can.
also share the list of tools also
Yeah,
that is suggested.
yeah, you can always, you can also write to me at contact@sciencematters.co.in. So contact@sciencematters.co.in. If you have any other questions regarding science communication, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to do my best. Uh, okay.
So I have a query one for specifically the majority of the participants over here. They are from first year students. So they love to write about the science and technical articles and all. So how they can start?
They can always send pitches to Science Matters.
Okay.
If they are interested in writing about any topic in science,
Yes, yes.
so send your pitches on the email ID that I just shared
Okay.
with you. And if we find those interesting, I think you'll I mean we can publish them on our platform.
So that will be a good start for them.
Yeah. That will be because we have a good team of editors. They learn a
Oh,
lot.
they're nice.
Yeah, they can edit. They can give their feedback to them. So we
Okay.
would be happy to take good ideas and publish them on
Sure,
our
sure.
website.
Because writing is very much important for the
Exactly.
entire their 4 year duration of the engineering because they have to submit projects, pitch the ideas and startups.
I think this one is working now. Is it?
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, it is working now. You can show it. It is very interesting video.
This is the one I was mentioning.
See it
Wonderfully made videos,
yes.
very powerful videos.
Yes, yes.
Anybody would be interested in knowing about the different planets, right? What is the composition?
Yes.
What is inside them?
And the use of AI tools is permitted in the NASA space app as per the guidelines. So you can make use of the tools,
Wonderful,
participants.
wonderful.
It was a wonderful session. Like you started with what is storytelling, what keywords to use, how to avoid jargons, different tasks. So was a much interesting session, and I am seeing the attention span is very good. We started with 111 participant, which is basically a manifestation number. So it's a very nice to see this engaging session for the NASA space app. So thank you so much for this wonderful session. Over to you, Anika.
Definitely, ma'am. So before concluding this session, we request all the attendees to fill the feedback form which has been shared in the chat. Your feedback is very valuable. So as we conclude this session, I express our heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Shakur Rathir for delivering such an insightful talk, right from the tools to the websites that we can use and how to make our content more relevant and interesting. So the participants definitely had the valuable key takeaways that will help them and guide them while they prepare for the hackathon. So we are truly grateful for your time, effort, and the expertise that you
Yes.
have shared with us today. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much for
and
having
and
me.
a special gratitude for answering all the queries, giving depth insights.
Yes.
Thank you so much, and all the best to all the people
Thank you,
who are
thank you,
taking part in the space challenge. Thank you.
thank you so much. Have a good evening. Have a good
Once again, before ending the meet, we request all the participants to fill the feedback form.
Yes, please fill the form. It is mandatory to for the getting the certificates.